Hi, I'm Dana, and I've been tired lately. I've been real tired. Like, I've not been like having a bad time. I've just been not meant to swear that early into the video. I've just been very tired. Okay, so I want to take like a little chill one to bring the mood down a little bit and talk about the hardest parts of being an autistic adult. However, I do think that this is one of the few times where like being autistic doesn't make that much difference. Like being an adult is just really hard and we don't talk about it, and if you do, you just get told life isn't fair, and it's like I know, but I'd like to complain a little bit. So, like, as always, I think that being autistic does tie into it somewhat because I'm an autistic person living an autistic person's life. But I think adulthood's really difficult for most people, and we just don't talk about it because we're adults now, so we don't do that. And I'm gonna. So, first off, is the thing that's got me tired, and that's that, like, the daily things that you just have to do every single day. And I've said this in videos before, but it's just exhausting. Like, living with my housemate is such a relief because he does some of the cooking. Like, living with my ex, I had to wake up every single day and decide what I was going to eat multiple times in a single day. And I know that's just what you have to do. I know it's what like all of us at least try to do or should be. But like it's so difficult. Like, I don't like making decisions. I have a lot of struggles with food, and yet every single day you have to wake up, and at some point while you're awake, you have to eat something. And personally, I haven't got that much money. I can't just order a meal or whatever or go to a restaurant. I have to deal with like cooking food. And in order to cook food, I have to keep up with doing food shops and actually having things in that I want to eat. And like, it's just constant and never ending and exhausting. Like, I had to go to the shop today for soy milk, and I just got loads of like other shit while I was there just so that I don't have to go again for a bit. Because I go to the fucking Asda like twice a week, and I hate doing it. I hate it. But you keep eating food, so it disappears. So you keep having to buy more food, and then you've got to cook the food, and then you've got to eat the food, and it's constant choices and decisions and doing things. And I get that it's what everyone has to do. I understand. I do it, but I'd like to complain about it a little bit because it's fucking exhausting. And that's literally just to eat. I don't remember the last time I drank a glass of water because I have such like horrible fucking sensory issues where like all the water that I've ever tasted tastes musty. It tastes like it's dirty. I don't like it. Like, it makes me. I've had water that makes me gag, and everyone else is like, it's perfectly good water. And I'm like, no, I know it's me, not the water. So I just don't drink water. I just drink Pepsi Max. I have accommodated to that. I need help. But also, like, washing my clothes. Like, I did, like, all of the washing the other day and had, like, an empty washing basket, and I just stood there for a minute and I was like, the clothes that I'm wearing are, like, they're not dirty yet, but I'm going to change into pyjamas later, and suddenly, before even we get to the end of the day, I've got laundry again. Like, it's the most constant cycle ever. I'd really like to just live naked for, like, a week so I just don't have laundry for a while. Like, fuck. Like, alongside the cooking one, I do dishes constantly, all the time. There's always dishes. And again, like, my housemate's actually useful. This isn't like when I lived with my ex and it was like I was doing everything for two people. Like, I wouldn't even say that I have to do everything for myself now. Like, I definitely get helped out way more than a normal housemate helps. And I'm still like, yeah, this is exhausting, right? This is so tiring. Next point though, because I could rant about that for a while longer. Controlling my own social life is so fucking hard. Okay, first we had the struggle of me finding people to have a social life with. That lasted for like 26 years of my life. I've got friends now. I have to maintain those friendships. I have to speak to people. I like speaking to my friends, don't get me wrong. It's not like that's not the hard bit. The hard bit is I really struggle with organising things and inviting people to things. Like, I'll be like, oh my god, you should come over for dinner sometime, when are you free? And people will be like, oh, I'm free on that day. And I'm like, oh, I'm not free on that day, I'm free on this day. And then they're not free. And then I'm like, I'll get back to you. And I get back to them. And like, it gets organised, but then it gets cancelled. And like, I get very anxious. So I don't then organise things. And then people think I don't want to be friends. But I actually really do. I just suck at organising shit. Or like was that yesterday? No, it was Friday. On Friday, I'd been fully planning, knowing my friend's birthday, like, their birthday was on the 21st, the 20th. Their birthday was a different day, and we were going to have a birthday celebration for them on the 23rd, and I knew that, and I was like, okay, Sunday the 23rd, I'll be ready. it wasn't Sunday the fucking 23rd, was it? The 23rd was a fucking Friday. So on the Friday, and this was me introducing like 2 of my friends at this event as well. So I was going to one friend's house to go to the other friend's house with that friend. So it was literally because they messaged me being like, what time are you coming over? That I was like, today's the 23rd. I got myself ready and managed to actually get to it. But if that had been like me not going with them, and this is the only time that I've gone with them as well, any other time, they would have, like, my main friend we were going to see would have been like, are you showing up then? And I'd have been like, fuck no, I'm not, because I should be there now, and it's gonna take me like an hour and a half to sort my shit out, you know? And it's things like that all the time where, like, I think that I've planned my social life and I think I've organised like this for this day and this for this day and this for this day, and then I've just got my days mixed up, or I've like mixed up the people, or like somebody cancels, so then it's just constant fucking hassle and stress. And quite a few of my friends also do impromptu where they'll just be like, do you want to hang out in a couple of hours? And I'll be like, yeah, I do. But I'm the kind of person that like plans my entire day, so now I've got something in my day that I'm not going to get done because I'd rather hang out with my friends, and I've got like major FOMO, and I feel like people aren't going to like me forever, so I've got to see people while I still have friends. And these are all things that I'm aware are my fault, by the way. Like, I'm not like complaining in the way of like, poor me. I'm just complaining about being alive because I think some of us need to sometimes. So like, say my friends like impromptu invited us over, I had my plan for what I was going to cook, and that's out the window now because I can't like take my food to their place to cook. That'd be weird, and I don't want to do it before I go because I'm like on a time crunch now in my own head. Like, my friends aren't putting me on a time crunch, that's on me. So now like I'm going to get to my friend's place. Chances are they're not going to want to cook for a bunch of people because we're all fucking poor and we haven't got the money to be cooking for like 6 people in one night if we just plan to feed ourselves. So we're going to order takeout, which means I'm going to then pay like 10-15 quid to like send money to my friends that I've paid for my own food. And all of a sudden, like, I can't afford something that I actually need because I got fucking takeout. And it's like, yeah, but I'm not going to sit there and be hungry while all of my friends eat, because if I do that, one of them's going to be like, oh no, I'll pay, don't worry. And then even though they won't expect me to pay them back, or they might, because that's okay too, I'm either going to have to pay them back when I do have money and then not have money when I should have, or they're going to actually pay for it and then I'm going to feel like I owe them until I buy them something in return, even though they don't put any pressure on me for that. You know, it's like constant tiny issues that are just exhausting, and it's like, I didn't have to deal with this shit as a kid, man. Like, I was dealing with a lot of other shit as a kid that I shouldn't have been dealing with as a kid, but I didn't have to deal with this crap at least. And similarly to like having to organise my own social life and not just having my mother organise play dates with people who realistically did not want to play date with me, having to sort my own appointments is fucking so annoying. Like, I have so many referrals to different things right now, and I don't know how to contact any of them to find out if they're actually going through, to chase them up, to like figure anything out. Like, I don't know. It's stuff my mum would have always done for me, you know? Like, phoning the doctors takes me like fucking 6 weeks to get myself round to, because number one, it horrifies me. Number two, they always want like a full history and I have to like disclose every traumatic thing that's ever happened to me. Number three, I've got to do a phone call. I fucking hate phone calls. I'm not sure if I made that number one actually. But, you know, in general, like, it's just a difficult time. And a lot of the time, I actually get to the appointment and they think that I booked an appointment for something else because I'm just so shit at explaining myself. I hate organising appointments. And also, I get to them all so early. Like, it's such a fucking full-on day event for me to have an appointment of any sort. Because I've got to, like, make sure that I'm getting there on time and leaving the house on time, and that I'm, like, looking right and feeling right and have things with me, and, like, I'm not forgetting anything. And I've got to get there a little bit early so that I can make myself, like, feel better. And it's a whole fucking event, and it's so tiring. And, like, there's not many things I miss about my mum, I won't lie to you. I cut her off for a reason. But I do really miss just having someone be like, it's time for your appointment now, get in the car. You know, not having to deal with any of it, not having to book it, not having to sort it out, not having to speak while I'm there. Like, I didn't speak to a doctor until I was like 16. You know, my mum just did it for me because I would not speak to them. And now I have no fucking choice but to do it because I'm the only person here to like advocate for myself or whatever, and it's so tiring. Moving on from that though, the unspoken things of adulthood, the things that people really just like don't talk about. Council tax. I always knew council tax was a thing, I knew it existed. The hassle I've had to find out how to pay it is unbelievable. It's like, like, hello Mr. Liverpool Council, I actively would like to give you some money that I think you're meant to have from me. How the fuck do I do it? I have figured it out. It's taken me like 3 months. Health stuff, I'm counting as like an unspoken adult thing, because there's so many like little physical niggles that I have, like little things where I'm like, is this healthy? Is this normal? Is this okay? And like, it's not bad enough to like take up a GP's time and put myself through the rigmarole of going to an appointment with them, but I'm also like, I didn't have this as a kid. Like, if I had some weird health thing, I'd ask my parents, they'd either take me to the doctors or be like, no, you're fine. Whereas now when I have weird health things, I'm just like Googling stuff and it's 3 a.m. and I'm like, oh my god, I think I have like 7 types of cancer and I've had a stroke and everything's not working. And the final one I'm including under my little like general adult life things, romantic stuff, sexual intimacy, all of that. Like, how do you tell when someone's flirting with you versus when they're not? How do you tell what anything is? I'm aware that I should move Otis, but like, that was a beautiful shot of him. But you know, like, I don't want to make a move on someone if they're not into me, but also there's a lot of times that I think someone is into me and I'm like, should I make a move now? And I just don't know what to do. And people talk about just making eye contact and I'm not going to do that. And I feel a bit uncomfortable talking about this now, so I'm going to stop. And my final point might be like the most raging one in some ways. I said that because I couldn't think of actual real words to use, but this is the one that I think is like most tied into like being autistic and not just generally the things that people struggle with as an adult, which is that my like leisure time activities and hobbies, I feel like they just differ from like most other adults, and it sucks because it means that like there's a lot of times that I've gone to various like groups and events and like little things like that where it's like for something I'm really excited about. Like there's a local like I don't think it's like specifically just for queer people, but there's some local group that's for like 14 to 25-year-olds or something that does all sorts of different groups and clubs and events, and are really cool. I'm not shading them here, it's a really cool thing. But when I've gone to things, even though like I don't anymore because I'm 26 now, but before, because it goes up to 25, I'd go to things and I'd be there as like a 24, 25-year-old with like literally like 15, 16-year-olds, and like they were lovely, don't get me wrong. It was quite nice actually to be able to sit down and like talk to a load of teenagers and be like, oh, look at the next generation. But like I wasn't gonna make friends or like hang out with them or anything. And it's just, you know, like it wasn't an even playing field. I was having to like really mask and monitor myself because I was like, I don't want to say the word twat around a load of 15-year-olds. And it's one of those things where like it's not so bad right now because I have found my friends and they're people that like doing similar things to what I like doing. And they are also other adults. So like I'm doing quite well on it at the minute. But like when I interact with people that aren't my friends, when I talk to other grown-ups, I feel like people, like other adults, just go to work and then go home and watch TV and drink some wine and maybe have a brunch with some of their friends and then go to work, and that's their entire life. And like I get that I'm very lucky to like, I mean, I'm not fucking lucky and privileged to not have a job. I would love to like have a job and be able to go to work. What the fuck? But like I get that like it's a different situation when like people's lives do revolve around their jobs more when you have a job versus when you make fucking online content or whatever. But also like that's real fucking boring. And even when I have done jobs, like I know that I don't think of it as a job because I loved it, but I worked at a video shop for 2 years and it was very like show up when you want, do what you fancy, like just get it done kind of thing. But like even when I was doing that, I'd go home and I'd like paint and I'd like, you know, I was watching a lot of movies and TV shows in work, which is one of my favourite things to do anyway. And even then, like other adults like don't interact with TV shows and movies in the way that I do. You know, I get into the fandom, I read fanfics, I never grew out of being a 15-year-old in a lot of ways when it comes to like my hobbies and leisure time activities. Whereas other people did grow out of that stuff and did grow up. And it feels like a bit of a disconnect and it can feel very odd. And for the longest time, that was where like I really like couldn't make friends because the things they wanted to do were things that I just wasn't interested in doing, you know. And I'd go along and give it a go and see how I felt about it. And I'd just be bored and heavily masked and not enjoy myself, and it was just pointless. But I have found people that like the things I like, and like I'm about to try D&D with some people I really like, and it's gonna be a whole fun time. So like it is possible. It's just kind of hard. And before I'd found these people, I felt very disconnected and very childish and very immature, and that's difficult when autistic people are already so often infantilised and like not seen as adults and generally looked down on in a lot of ways. So yeah, that last point was the darkest one by far, but these are the hardest parts of being an adult for me. it was just me whinging and complaining, and I feel much better for it actually. I feel great about it. I feel so good for having done that. That was a therapy session you've just witnessed. I feel so much better now. If you need your own bit of therapy, please comment down below with the things that you find difficult, the things you don't enjoy, the things you want to complain about. Just have a really good whinge. It does a world of good. I promise you, I've already told you I feel so much better, but I really do. That was such a good whinge. So please feel free to have your own down in the comments. And please do like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, if you've watched this far. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. And you can also donate me money on Ko-fi and on Patreon, and by becoming a YouTube member if you have it, and if you want to. There's never any pressure, you do not have to. I want to say more because I feel good now, but there's not any more to say. That's my full promotion bit over. Thank you a lot for watching. Do I do a little emotional bit at the end here? I feel like I used to quite often do little bits at the end where I'd talk to like regular viewers, and I haven't done that in a little while. As always, I do read all of your comments, and I notice he like comes back and he comments multiple times, and I really enjoy reading about your lives and the like, and I feel like I've really gotten to know some of you quite well now, even though you just comment on my little videos. But it's still really amazing to me that people are watching them and that people are here, and that like I am beginning to build up some sort of degree of community, come career, come something. I don't like saying the word come. But yeah, if this is your first video, thank you for watching. But especially if you've been here, because I've been doing this for like a year or two now. I feel like I've been doing this forever, I'm gonna lie to you. But like I've been regularly actually doing this for like quite a while now, and some of you have been here the whole time. And thank you. Do you really like me that much? That's very flattering. I get way too much of an ego from it, okay? The validation I receive from this is off the charts. Thank you for contributing to it. I don't want to get mushy, but it really does mean a lot, and it really normalises a lot of things for me. It makes me feel like I'm not a fucking freaky weirdo disaster. Like every time someone's like, you've made me feel not alone, I'm like, bitch, that's what you're doing for me too. I need to stop referring to everyone as bitch. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I'll see you again in a couple of days.